Hi class, I have this question here for unit, excuse me, I'm just checking over, I'm fumbling it. I have this question here from unit 4, homework 2, problem number 7. Now, I'm not going to do this exact problem, but I do want to show you how it works. It says, find the critical value associated with the confidence interval. Well, maybe you can't see. Find the critical value T sub C associated with the critical value of the level of confidence of C equals 99 and a sample size of 10. Now, let me do a little plug here for a video that I created. If you haven't seen it already, I do encourage you to do it. Let me find the video. Yep, it's this one right here. Go to announcement, go to our class, click on announcements. There's a video there saying review of confidence intervals. And I walk through a PowerPoint presentation, show you how to do confidence intervals. And one of the things I show you how to do is to find T critical values. So that's just a quick plug for that. Okay, so how are we going to do this here? Well, one thing to take note of right away is this symbol right here. To make it a little bigger for you, it's this. What does this mean? This is the T critical value, critical. You'll recall from the prior problems in this homework session and in finding confidence intervals, it's all about the critical values because the critical values help you to find the margin of error. Okay, so in essence, what do we have to do is this is telling you what table that you have to use. You have to use the T table. Up until this problem, you were using the Z table, the normal distribution table. Here, we're giving you a new table that you have to use called the T table. And so basically what this problem is wanting you to do is to be able to work with the T table. So there are two things you need in order to use the T table. You need a level of confidence and you need what's called the degrees of freedom. Now the degrees of freedom is equal to the sample size minus 1. That's it. So let me create a problem here. I'm not going to do this one, but I'm going to do something just like it to show you how this works. So suppose we have well, let me say this. Find the T critical value for a confidence level of 95% with a sample size, of 21. That's just making it up. It doesn't matter. We just want different values here. Okay. So what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? So let me copy and paste this first before I lose it because, yeah, because I will lose it. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to go to our T table. And bear with me because I'm gonna pull mine up. I forgot to pull it up before I created the video, and I apologize for that. So let me go to that. I'm going to pull up my T table. Nope, that's not it. Here we go. Okay, so let me get you over here. Okay, so here's my T table, values of T. And you'll see across the top, mine has at least degrees of freedom. If you want mine, just email me. I can certainly send you a copy of it. It's a PDF, but you can download it from the internet too. That's actually where I got this. Okay, so you see the center here is the degrees of freedom, and so that's what these values along the top represent, are the degrees of freedom. Look at this left-hand side here. It's telling you the tail probability and whether it's one tail or two tail. Okay, so a couple things to note. One is that whenever you're dealing with confidence intervals are always always. So when you're dealing with confidence intervals in the T table, you're always going to be looking in this table, this column right here, always. Okay. What is the probability? What do they mean by the probability here? That's the level of confidence, whether it's 90%, 95%, whatever it is, doesn't matter. That's the level of confidence. And remember, in our problem, we're dealing with a 95% level of confidence. And we're dealing with a sample size of 21. That was our original problem. Okay, so that's so this corresponds to the level of confidence. Remember, we can always, and you should, be converting that to a decimal. So that's 0.95. Oops, 0.95. So go to the two-tail column, look for the value of 0.95. And so we may have to scroll. Oh, I'm sorry, not yet. I forgot one thing. What you have to do is you have to subtract it from 1. My apologies. Subtract it from 1. Subtract the C value from 1. So you get 0.05. Okay, now we're ready. I'm sorry. The other thing we need to do is we need to take our sample size and subtract off the degrees, find the degrees of freedom. Remember, the degrees of freedom is take the sample size minus 1. So in this case, because n is equal to 21, plug it in, we get a degrees of freedom. We get a degrees of freedom equal to 20. Okay, so now we're ready. Take the degrees of freedom, take the 1 minus C value, go to the two-tail column, find the value of 0.05. There it is, right there. Go over here, find along the top your degrees of freedom of 20. There it is. And find where the two meet. And so we see that they connect at the value of 2.086. 2.086. So the T critical value is that value right here. 2.086. So let me do another one for you because I sort of muddied this up. Let me make the explanation a little cleaner for you, but we're going to use everything we just learned here. Okay, so what is the T critical value for a 90% confidence interval with a sample size of 8? I'm just making something up. So what you do is you start by finding your C value. That's the 90%. Write it as a decimal. So that's 0.9. And then take 1 minus that. So 1 minus C is 0.1. Go to your two-tail column. Find 0.1. There we are. Find your degrees of freedom. Remember, that is the sample size n minus 1. So the degrees of freedom in this case are what? Sample size is 8. We subtract off the 1, so we get a degrees of freedom of 7. That column right there, see where the two values meet. And so our T critical value, T critical value is 1.895. Voila. Hope this helps.